Someone insults you in front of everyone. Your heart starts beating fast. Your face feels hot. Every part of you wants to fight back, prove them wrong, and win the moment. But in that exact second, the most powerful man in Rome would have stayed completely calm. Marcus Aurelius followed one simple rule whenever someone tried to provoke him. Just one sentence. That single thought broke the other person's power more than any angry reply ever could. Today, you'll learn that sentence. And once you truly understand it, you will stop losing battles against your own emotions. Have you noticed something? People rarely provoke you by accident. Most of the time, they do it on purpose. Sometimes they know it. Sometimes they don't. But the goal is always the same, to make you react. Think about the last time someone pushed your buttons. Maybe a coworker made a sarcastic joke during a meeting. Maybe a family member brought up an old mistake just to make you uncomfortable. Maybe a stranger online wrote something only to make you angry. What were they really looking for? Not the truth. Not a real discussion. They wanted your reaction. The moment you lose control, they feel powerful. Your anger tells them they reached you. It proves they can control your emotions better than you can. This is the trap. And here's the harsh truth. Every angry reply gives them exactly what they wanted. Every loud argument is the price they wanted you to pay. The wise never pay that price. The philosopher Epictetus understood this better than anyone. He lived as a slave. He had almost no control over his life. He was beaten, owned, and treated like property. Yet he discovered one truth that made him mentally free. He said we don't suffer because of what happens. We suffer because of the meaning we give to what happens. Think carefully about that. The insult itself didn't hurt you. Your own judgment did. If a man who owned nothing could control his mind, why do we lose our peace over a rude comment from a coworker, a stranger online, or a relative repeating the same joke every year? Because we've been playing the wrong game. We've been trying to defeat the person instead of protecting our peace. The real victory is not having the last word. The real victory is walking away with your mind untouched. Maybe you're thinking, if I stay silent, won't they win? No. That is the biggest misunderstanding. The Stoics never taught weakness. They never told you to let people walk over you. They taught something far more powerful. They learned a way to destroy provocation without throwing a single insult. Now listen carefully. Marcus Aurelius wrote something in his private journal. He never expected anyone to read it. That's why these words are honest and real. He wrote, "If someone proves that I'm wrong, I will gladly change. I seek the truth, and the truth has never harmed me." Read those words again. This is not a clever comeback. It is not meant to embarrass anyone. It is a sentence you say to yourself before you speak. And that changes everything. When someone attacks you, they want you to believe your identity is under attack. They want you to defend your ego. Marcus refused to play that game. He treated every insult as information. Maybe it was true. Maybe it wasn't. If it was true, it became a lesson. If it was false, it had no power unless he accepted it. Imagine you're at a family gathering. An uncle laughs and says, "Are you still wasting time on that little hobby, or did you finally get a real job?" Most people immediately become defensive. They list their achievements. They argue. They try to prove themselves. But a strategic mind thinks differently. Ask yourself one question. Is there any truth in his words? If yes, learn from it. If no, why should it disturb you? Then calmly ask, what makes you think that? Or simply say, that's an interesting opinion. Nothing more. No anger. No emotion. No need to prove yourself. Watch what happens. The person came expecting a fight. Instead, they find a wall they cannot move. Their attack loses all its force. Many people become uncomfortable because their attempt to control you has failed. This is why silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Anger gives power to your enemy. Calm takes that power away. Seneca called anger a temporary form of madness. He believed anger steals your ability to think clearly and hands control to the person who provoked you. The greatest trick of anger is making you believe you're becoming stronger, when in reality you're becoming easier to control. Think about it. The angrier you become, the more predictable you are. People know exactly which words will hurt you because you've already shown them. But calm is impossible to predict. Calm reveals nothing. That is why this sentence is not just about winning arguments. It reminds you that every conflict gives you a choice. You can chase the bait. Or you can refuse to touch it. The second choice is where real power lives. But what happens when the attack is not small? What if someone truly betrays you? What if the wound is deep? The Stoics prepared for that too. Marcus Aurelius faced one of the greatest betrayals imaginable. In 175 AD, while he was far from Rome dealing with a serious illness, rumors spread across the empire that he had died. One man saw an opportunity. A trusted general named Avidius Cassius declared himself the new emperor. The man Marcus trusted most chose power over loyalty. Marcus had raised that man to one of the highest positions in the empire. He trusted him with entire armies. Yet the moment Marcus was believed to be dying, that same man tried to steal the throne. This was not a small insult. This was betrayal at the highest level. It came from someone who owed everything to Marcus. So how did Marcus respond? History tells us he did not explode with anger. He did not demand revenge. Instead, he said he hoped to meet Cassius, ask him one simple question, why? And then forgive him. He even wished that no one would die if it could be avoided. He cared more about preventing a civil war than protecting his own pride. Before Marcus could act, Cassius was killed by his own soldiers. His head was brought to Marcus as a trophy. Imagine that moment. Every person around him expected celebration. They expected rewards. They expected revenge. Marcus refused all of it. He would not even look at the head. He ordered it buried with dignity. The soldiers received no reward. Cassius's family was spared. Even the cities that supported the rebellion were shown mercy. Think about the level of control that required. Marcus was not weak. He commanded the strongest army on earth. He could have destroyed every person connected to the betrayal. No one could have stopped him. But real power is not shown by revenge. Real power is shown by self-control. Marcus had trained his mind to ask one question before every decision. What will this anger cost me if I obey it? That single question changed everything. If he had chosen revenge, he might have enjoyed a few moments of satisfaction. But Rome would have seen another ruler controlled by emotion. His enemies would have feared him. His friends would have trusted him less. He would have traded wisdom for temporary pleasure. Instead, he chose restraint. And because of that, history barely remembers Cassius. But it remembers Marcus as a ruler of character. Now think about your own life. You probably won't face a rebellion. You won't have generals trying to steal your throne. But the pattern is exactly the same. Someone sends a disrespectful message. A coworker embarrasses you. A family member betrays your trust. Your mind immediately demands revenge. At that moment, you face the same choice Marcus faced. React for 10 seconds. Or respond in a way your future self will respect for years. That is where real strength is tested. Anyone can stay calm when life is easy. The challenge is staying calm when everything inside you wants to fight. Now many people misunderstand Stoicism. They believe staying calm means accepting every insult. They think it means becoming silent while people walk all over you. That is completely wrong. Stoicism never asks you to become weak. It asks you to become impossible to manipulate. The goal is not to stop feeling emotions. The goal is to stop letting emotions make your decisions. The Stoics explain that every person feels the first shock. Your heart beats faster. Your face becomes warm. Your stomach tightens. That reaction is natural. You are human. Even the wisest person feels it. The difference comes a few seconds later. Do you let anger take control? Or do you take control of anger? That moment decides everything. Seneca believed anger is a temporary madness. It tricks you into believing you're becoming stronger. But in reality, you become easier to predict. The angry person always follows the same pattern. Raise the voice. Argue. Attack. Defend. The manipulator already knows what you'll do next. Calm people are different. They cannot be read. They cannot be controlled. That is why Stoicism never tells you to avoid defending yourself. It teaches you to defend yourself with clarity instead of rage. Imagine two people saying exactly the same words. The first says, "What you said was unfair, and here's why." His voice is steady. His eyes never leave yours. His breathing stays calm. The second person screams the exact same sentence. His face is red. His hands shake. His emotions take over. Which one looks stronger? The message is identical. The delivery changes everything. Confidence is quiet. Weakness shouts. Sometimes the strongest response is only one sentence. "I'm not going to accept that." That isn't true. We can continue this conversation when everyone is calm. Notice something. These sentences are short. They are clear. They don't beg. They don't explain too much. They don't invite another argument. They end the game. That was Marcus Aurelius' real lesson. Pause first. Choose your words carefully. Speak with precision instead of emotion. Never allow another person to decide which version of you appears. You don't become invisible. You become untouchable. The more control you have over yourself, the less control anyone else has over you. And here's another secret the Stoics understood. Composure is not something you're born with. It is not luck. It is training. Just like building strength in the body, you build strength in the mind. The people who stay calm under pressure are not different from you. They simply practiced long before the battle arrived. The Stoics trained their minds long before trouble arrived. They called this practice premeditatio malorum, thinking about future problems before they happened. The idea was simple. Don't wait until someone attacks you. Prepare while your mind is still calm. That way, when the moment finally comes, you won't react with emotion. You'll act with strategy. Seneca believed that expecting life to be easy was one of the biggest mistakes a person could make. Don't expect everyone to respect you. Don't expect every friend to stay loyal. Don't expect every conversation to be fair. Instead, imagine the difficult moments before they arrive. Picture the coworker trying to steal your credit. Picture the friend who betrays your trust. Picture the stranger who insults you online. Not because you should fear these moments. Because you should remove their power before they happen. Think about it. Most provocations hurt so much because they surprise us. The surprise itself becomes part of the pain. But when you've already imagined the situation, your mind recognizes it. Instead of panic, you experience familiarity. Instead of confusion, you execute a plan. That is what powerful people do. They don't invent their response in the middle of battle. They prepare it before the battle ever begins. Here's a simple exercise. Tonight, before you sleep, spend 5 quiet minutes alone. Think about the person most likely to test your patience this week. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's someone online. Now imagine the worst thing they could realistically say. See the entire conversation in your mind. Then rehearse your response. Not an emotional response. Not the perfect revenge. A calm response. A short response. A response that protects your dignity instead of your ego. Picture yourself speaking slowly. Picture them waiting for an angry reaction that never comes. Picture yourself leaving with complete control over your emotions. That is not negative thinking. It is strategic preparation. There is a huge difference between fear and planning. Fear repeats the same nightmare without finding an answer. Preparation rehearses the problem until it loses its power. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every morning. Before beginning his day, he reminded himself that he would meet difficult people. People who were selfish, ungrateful, dishonest, jealous, proud. He expected them. Not because he hated people. Because expectation destroys surprise. When rude people finally appeared, Marcus wasn't shocked. He had already met them in his mind hours earlier. His decision had already been made. He knew exactly who he wanted to be. Most people wake up hoping life will be easy. Then they fall apart the moment it isn't. Marcus woke up expecting challenges. So challenges never caught him unprepared. That is a completely different way of living. Try it for 1 week. Choose one difficult relationship. Spend a few minutes each day imagining your calm response. When the real moment comes, something surprising will happen. You'll think, I've already lived this moment. I already know what I'm going to do. That feeling alone changes everything. But preparation doesn't solve every problem. Sometimes, even after you stay calm on the outside, the anger remains inside. You say the right words. You walk away with dignity. Yet your mind keeps replaying the event for hours. If you've experienced that, you're not weak. You're human. The Stoics understood this better than most people realize. These were not men who lived easy lives. Seneca lost family members. He was forced into exile. Later, he was ordered to end his own life. Epictetus spent years as a slave. He likely suffered physical abuse. Some stories even say one of his legs was permanently damaged by his master. Marcus Aurelius buried several of his own children. He faced betrayal from trusted people. He ruled during one of the deadliest plagues in Roman history. These men understood pain. They earned their wisdom through suffering. That is why they never promised that anger would disappear instantly. Their goal was different. They wanted to stop anger from becoming resentment. Anger is temporary. Resentment is anger that chooses to stay forever. It quietly poisons your thoughts. It steals your peace long after the battle has ended. Marcus had a powerful way of dealing with this. Whenever someone treated him badly, he asked himself a different question. Did this person act from true strength? Or from their own weakness? Most cruel people believe they are powerful. In reality, they are usually acting from fear, insecurity, pride, or ignorance. They mistake cruelty for confidence. They mistake control for respect. Understanding this changes everything. It doesn't excuse their behavior. It doesn't mean you must trust them again. A Machiavellian mind never confuses compassion with blindness. You can understand someone's weakness and still keep them at a distance. You can see why they acted the way they did, without allowing them another chance to harm you. This shift is incredibly powerful. Instead of thinking, they attacked me, you begin thinking, they revealed themselves. That changes the entire game. You don't become the victim. You become the observer. Think about a storm. You don't hate the rain. You don't spend weeks arguing with the wind. You simply recognize the weather and prepare for it. People ruled by anger are no different. They reveal the condition of their own mind. Your job is not to fix them. Your job is to protect your own peace. Real wisdom combines two things: clear understanding and firm boundaries. You can understand why someone became cruel and still refuse to let them enter your life again. That is not weakness. That is disciplined power. And there is one final technique the Stoics use to release the anger that still remains after the battle is over. It may be the simplest habit of all. Yet it quietly protects your mind from carrying yesterday's poison into tomorrow. There is one final lesson every powerful mind must learn. Never deny your anger. But never let it rule your kingdom. A wise ruler gives every emotion its place. Nothing more. Nothing less. When anger appears, don't pretend it isn't there. Face it. Study it. But never give it unlimited control over your day. One useful method is simple. Give your anger a time limit. 10 minutes. No more. Write down exactly what you're feeling. Don't censor yourself. Don't try to sound wise. Let every thought leave your mind and land on the page. Then close the notebook. Stand up. Walk away. The session is over. Your anger had its audience. Now it no longer owns your attention. That isn't suppression. It's discipline. A king listens to every advisor. He obeys none of them blindly. Your emotions deserve the same treatment. Now let's ask the most important question. Why does any of this matter? Why refuse to answer anger with anger? Because every time you mirror another person's behavior, you slowly become their reflection. And that is the greatest defeat of all. Think carefully. An insult cannot erase your success. It cannot steal your knowledge. It cannot destroy your reputation among those who truly know you. It cannot rewrite your past. The only thing it can steal is your self-control. And it can only steal that if you willingly hand it over. Marcus Aurelius described the human mind as a fortress. Storms may rage outside. Enemies may gather at the gates. Betrayal may surround the walls. But the fortress remains untouched. Until the owner opens the gate. That is the hidden truth. No enemy enters without permission. Every provocation is simply someone knocking on your gate. You decide whether it stays closed. Every calm response proves something far greater than winning an argument. It proves that your mind still belongs to you. That is real freedom. Every insult becomes a test. Not of your intelligence. Not of your strength. But of your command over yourself. Most people fail because they fight the wrong battle. They try to defeat the person standing in front of them. The wise defeat the weakness inside themselves first. That victory lasts forever. And something remarkable happens. Each time you refuse to react emotionally, the next challenge becomes easier. Self-control grows like muscle. One repetition at a time. The Stoics understood this long before modern psychology existed. Philosophy wasn't something to admire. It was daily training. Every rude coworker. Every disrespectful stranger. Every jealous relative. Every manipulative person. Becomes another training partner. Without realizing it, they help sharpen your discipline. That is the Machiavellian advantage. Your enemies believe they are weakening you. In reality, they are strengthening your control. Eventually you become impossible to manipulate. Not because people stop attacking you. Because attacks stop producing the reactions they came for. Understand this carefully. Being unshakable doesn't mean becoming cold. It means protecting the people who matter from the emotional poison created by people who don't. Never carry today's insult into tomorrow's relationships. Don't punish your family for a stranger's words. Don't give your enemies the power to ruin your peace long after they've disappeared. That is how ordinary people lose. A strategist ends the battle when the battle ends. The next time someone insults you, pause. Remember what is truly at risk. Not your reputation. Not your value. Only your self-control. And that is something nobody can steal. Unless you hand it to them. Everything comes back to one principle. Accept the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Reject everything else. Truth makes you stronger. Insults only make you weaker if you believe them. So remember these 5 principles. First, provocation is only an invitation. You choose whether to accept it. Second, a calm sentence is more powerful than 100 emotional arguments. Sometimes one quiet look says more than an entire speech. Third, calm does not mean weakness. Set firm boundaries. Speak clearly. But never surrender your discipline. Fourth, train before the battle. Visualize difficult conversations. Rehearse your calm response. The prepared mind cannot be surprised. And finally, if anger remains afterward, give it a place. Never give it a permanent home. Feel it. Learn from it. Then release it. Yesterday's poison should never become tomorrow's burden. More than 2,000 years ago, Marcus Aurelius wrote these thoughts only for himself. He never expected the world to read them. Yet today they still teach one timeless truth. Power does not belong to the loudest person. It belongs to the person who cannot be controlled. You don't need to rule an empire to live this philosophy. You only need one difficult conversation. One insult. One betrayal. One moment where everyone expects you to lose control. And you refuse. That single choice changes the direction of your character. Because in the end, the strongest person in the room is never the one who speaks the loudest. It is the one who decides when silence is more dangerous than words. And when words are sharper because they are spoken without anger. Remember this every time someone tries to provoke you. Your mind is your kingdom. Your discipline is your army. Your silence is your shield. And your patience is the weapon your enemies never expect. Guard them well. Because the fortress only falls when its own king opens the gate.